And if I have to give you 5 years of my social media history just to step foot in your country, I'm just not going to go to your country. Because, spoiler alert, absolutely nobody is dying to go to the United States right now. Nigga, I live in Europe.
Somebody should tell this lady there's literally millions of people that don't belong in this country fighting to stay in it right now. But beyond that, I noticed that she used a little bit of American slang there at the end of this portion of the clip where she says, IGGA, I live in Europe. Well, that's an American slang term, first of all. Black people in the UK were not using that as a colloquial term until it became cool because of rap music. But even further beyond that, you might want to watch what you say in the UK, miss, because it might land you in some trouble. Jamila Abdi, a 21-year-old black woman from East London, was charged with using the N-word in a tweet directed at another black woman. The incident occurred on August 27, 2023, during a discussion about a football match involving black footballer Alexander Isaac. Now, she was ultimately released, so that's good, but could you imagine having to go through all that hassle over talking some shit on the internet?
As if it wasn't the Americans who created the term Euro summer to come here. Why would we be stressed about not going to your country, bro? Americans and Trump are going to have to realize very quickly the world is so much bigger and grander to some extent than the United States.
Police are investigating complaints after a 16-year-old girl was arrested for making an offensive comment against these officers. This is despite the mum telling them her daughter was autistic.
But hey, maybe you don't even want to go to the UK. Maybe you'd prefer to go to Paris and get scammed and then attacked for calling them out for it.
Don't fall for it, man. It's a scam. It's a scam. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Hey.
Represent your charity very well. Your charity is not real.
Go.
You go. You go. You scumbags, you dirtbags. She's gonna throw a bottle. Come, throw the bottle. Throw the bottle. And get done. Yeah, come. Come. Come throw it. The lovely charity people. Come. There we go.
I'm sure that little autistic girl thinks that the UK is just grand.
I can get to France, Belgium, the Netherlands, all via one train. Spain is literally like less than 2 hours away. I've already gone twice this year.
Oh, darling, that's adorable. I always find it funny when Europeans don't realize how big the United States are. I went ahead and looked up. It's 17-hour, 1,070-mile drive from London to Madrid. Somebody should let this young lady know that that's like a third the distance across our country.
I've already got 2 Europe trips booked for 2026. Why would I be itching and scratching my female balls to go to the United States to be treated like a foreigner? Like I can't get that in my own country. Like, because until I can get an answer for why I would happily go to a place that will give me more headache for visiting there, I'm going to happily stay here in Europe. Come on, get down.
Well, ma'am, we over here in the States know how Europe gets down, and you can keep it. Norbert Gerksick, a 40-year-old man from Hereford, was arrested in May 2023 for possessing and distributing extreme right-wing music and material. He was found with more than 2,000 records, which he was buying and selling across the UK and Europe. Gerksick was sentenced to 40 months for each offense at Worcester Crown Court. The sentence will be served concurrently. Does anybody else remember the scene from V for Vendetta where Keira Knightley's boss takes her down to his like secret hidden basement where he has to hide like the Quran and like all sorts of historic memorabilia, and I think maybe there's like a Beatles album down there. Like it seems pretty poignant, right? And just to be clear, it wasn't as if he had 2,000 records of extreme right material or whatever. He had, the vast majority was just normal record stuff. He had, I don't know, a couple dozen of these far right records and whatnot in that massive collection. He was a record collector and trader. That was his hobby. A 23-year-old man was arrested in the UK for shouting "We love bacon" during a protest outside a proposed mosque, raising concerns about freedom of speech and public order laws. And then, of course, we've got Elizabeth Kinney, whom I have already spoken about. She was assaulted by a male friend of hers, and when she referred to that friend in a derogatory manner to a third party, the third party turned her in to the police for calling her attacker a naughty name. British man says he was arrested after posting photos holding guns during July 4th trip to Florida, where, of course, it is entirely legal to possess firearms. Adam Smith Connor, 51-year-old Army vet, convicted of thought crime for silently praying near an abortion clinic, marking a controversial legal precedent in the UK. And this man ultimately had to pay something like 9,000 euro, or I'm not really sure. It's about $12,000 US. Emmanuel Brusenholz, a Swiss wind instrument repairman, was sentenced to 10 days in prison for refusing to pay fines related to a controversial Facebook comment about biological sex. Emmanuel Brunsholz of Bergdorf, Switzerland, was convicted under Article 261 BIS of the Swiss Criminal Code, which addresses discrimination and incitement to hatred. His conviction stemmed from a Facebook post made in December 2022, where he responded to a comment by National Councillor Andres Glarner. In his post, Brunisholz stated, "If you excavate LGBTQI people after 200 years, you will only find men and women among the skeletons. Everything else is a mental illness that was fostered by the curriculum." This comment was reported by activists, leading to police questioning and subsequent legal action. Couple arrested after school WhatsApp chat messages say they cannot fathom what happened. Maxie Allen, 50, and Rosalinda Levine, 46, were detained in January by Hertfordshire police and left in a police cell for 8 hours after a dispute with their eldest daughter's school. The row with Cowley Hill Primary School started after Mr. Allen complained about the recruitment process for a new head teacher. The school then contacted police after it objected to the parents sending several emails and criticizing staff on a private parents' WhatsApp group. The school claimed the couple were making disparaging and inflammatory remarks. After Hertfordshire police officers detained them in front of their youngest daughter, age 3, their home was searched and they were questioned on suspicion of harassment, malicious communications, and causing a nuisance on school property. Police concluded that there should be no further action after a 5-week investigation. No charge over spreading of Southport misinformation. A businesswoman who was arrested after publishing a fake name for the Southport attacker online will face no further action. Bernadette Spawforth from Chester was arrested on 8 August for posting a fake name, commenting that if it were true that all hell is about to break loose. Miss Spawforth, who regularly posts political comments on X on subjects including net zero, gender issues, and pandemic and free speech, said despite repeatedly insisting I'd done nothing illegal, police officers dragged her from her home and held her for 36 hours in a cell. And then, of course, we have the migrant grooming gangs. Kate Elijah, not her real name, was abused by a gang of men of Pakistani origin in the Shropshire town of Telford. She was first SA'd when she was 18, shortly after moving out of her family home into a bed set, and has previously estimated she was attacked by more than 70 men. She said her abusers would harass her on her doorstep and send other men to her home asking for, let's say, private time. She says the abuse was almost daily, sometimes multiple men a day. Kate, now 36, gave evidence to an independent inquiry into gang grooming in Telford, which found that 1,000 girls had been targeted, and nervousness about race led to abuse being ignored for generations. And keep in mind that 1,000 girls is not nationwide, that is in this single municipality. Now, if you want to look more into that, you can go ahead and Wikipedia Rotherham Child exploitation scandal to go a little further into that. I don't have the time here today. And then, of course, on the other side, much in the same way that they protected the migrants due to fears of, I don't know, racial accusations, whatever it may be, Ricky Jones, a suspended labor counselor, was found not guilty of encouraging violent disorder after he called for far-right protesters' throats to be cut at an anti-racism protest. The incident occurred on August 7th, 2024, and was captured in a video that went viral on social media. The court heard that Jones used inflammatory, rabble-rousing language in a crowd described as a tinderbox, and his speech was amplified through a microphone and speakers. Despite the court's findings, the case had sparked discussions about two-tier justice and the implications of such verdicts in the political landscape. Like, ma'am, do you realize that you're already living in a dystopian novel? And don't get me wrong, like, it's not as if America isn't full of its own problems. The government is trying to implement the same sort of authoritarian, totalitarian, New World Order, policies and regimes and what have you, mostly now coming from the left. Don't get me wrong, the Uniparty absolutely was a thing, but things have changed in the last 10 years. On top of all that, well, the American citizenry retains more firearms than any nation standing army on earth, so, Point being, you can keep your happy ass over on that dystopian island of yours, or on that dystopian continent of yours, as we've seen. It's now spread across Europe and will probably only continue to get worse. You have fun with that, ma'am. We'll take the guy that they arrested for taking a picture of himself with a gun here in the States on vacation. We'll take him. You stay.